Bright Tuty. Every student matters.
Let us now discuss the back exercises, the question answers of this chapter. So, what were the qualities that Mehouviu and Morusa were known for? So, what were the qualities of Mehouviu? We have read in the story the adjective winsome, maiden, and virtuous. So, these are the two adjectives that have been used for Mehouviu in the story. And for Morusa, we all know he was a very popular warrior. He was a headhunter. He was tall and strong. And we can also say that both of them were extremely popular because, in Mehouviu's case, there were multiple men who wanted to marry her. And similarly for Morusa also, there were a lot of girls who intended to marry Morusa as well. Why was Mehouviu reluctant to marry? What do we mean by the word reluctant? Reluctant means when you are not very willing to do something, when you have that some glitch in your, heart that is stopping you from doing something. So why was Mehouviu saying no to almost every proposal that came her way? Because obviously she had been informed about Morusa, the very popular and brave warrior, and she had started believing that it was only Morusa who was her suitable husband or suitable or prospective groom. Okay. What did Mehouviu dream of? So, what dream did Mehouviu have? Mehouviu dreamt, remember that dream, that she was in Morusa's house. There was a table in front of her, and that table had rice and meat in abundance. And this is the dream that she had repeatedly a few days before her wedding. How did Morusa try to impress his bride? So, what did Morusa do in order to impress his bride? He set out. So, he set out for head hunting. He wanted to come across some enemy warrior whom he could kill, take his head as a trophy in order to impress his bride. How did people learn about Mehouviu's death? So, how did the people learn about Mehouviu's death? Because Mehouviu's relatives had sent messengers to their village. So, a few messengers were sent from Mehouviu's village to that of Morusa in order to inform him about the death of Mehouviu. What was the tragedy that struck Morusa? Now, this is actually the ultimate tragedy that anybody could have thought of. So, the tragedy that Morusa realized was that he had unknowingly killed his own beloved. So, he had unknowingly killed his own beloved, and that was the tragedy that Morusa was struck with. Okay. Who do you think you like the best in the story and why? Now, this is something, when it comes to the section of think and write, this always involves or expects the students to use the maximum of their imagination and creativity and to pour, to express what they feel. So, it can be anyone out of these two whom you feel is more likable. If I would say, I would consider Mehouviu to be a better person in the story. She has been described as someone who was very virtuous. So virtuous is basically a term that you use for somebody who has good moral standards, good moral values. So she was a girl with good moral values. She was obviously beautiful. She was very pretty, and she did not want to impress her husband with anything. You know, we very well read how Morusa tried to impress his wife, and what did he end up doing, because of that. So, unlike Morusa, Mehouviu did not have that pretentious attitude, and she did not want to do anything to impress anyone. So, that is my personal reason for liking Mehouviu more than Morusa. What lesson does the story teach you, and how does it do so? What is the lesson that we get to know from this story? 2 lessons. The first is obviously we should stop the practice of head hunting. And second moral that I personally learned from the story is that one should not try to show something or to be something that one is not. Pretending, impressing people can actually prove to be harmful for the other person. So one should refrain from doing so. And how does this story teach us these 2 morals? Because of its tragic climax, the tragedy that took place in the story, Morusa unknowingly killing his own future wife just for the sake of honor, just for the sake of impression, was something that actually proved to be disadvantageous for him as well. So this is what I learned from the story. Do you think Morusa was a victim of circumstances and beliefs? So do you think what Morusa did, he did because he himself was forced by the circumstances, by the beliefs of people? I would say yes. When you are good, the expectations from you will always keep on increasing. Okay, if we talk about some famous actor, we talk about some famous dancer, we talk about some famous sports person. If somebody is doing extremely good in his or her field, the audiences, the spectators will always expect more from them. And in order to impress the viewers, the people at times end up doing some silly mistake, some silly error, committing something which is no less than a crime. And this is exactly what happened with Morusa as well. He was popular, he had this responsibility of being a warrior, and that too a very strong warrior, and he just wanted to prove himself worthy. He wanted his future wife to know that she did not do any mistake in saying yes to him, and that I believe was the only reason that urged Morusa to do what he actually did. Okay. Rewrite the story, giving it a happy ending. So this is again which requires you to be as imaginative as you can. You have to rewrite the story. You have to give it a happy ending. It should be a happy tale rather than a sad one. And the last one says, you are a journalist. Write Morusa's tale of woe. Woe means sadness. So you are a journalist, you met Morusa after this incident, and you decide to write about the problems, the grief, the sadness that Morusa is surrounded by, is enveloped with, and this is what you are supposed to do in the 5th. So with this, my dear students, we come to the end of this story. It was a very simple story, a very easy chapter, but obviously with a tragic end. The question answers of this chapter have been discussed with you at length, and I hope that the chapter as well as its exercises are clear to you. So I shall see you all now in my next lecture. Thank you.